How's it going, everybody? This is Mike, uh, doing my first video in about 3 weeks, I think. And I was away on vacation. I went to the Star Trek convention in Las Vegas, Star Trek, where I bought this nice sweatshirt. That was second week of August, and so I was gone for about a week. And when I came back on August 10th, which was a Monday, a couple of days later, I got sick. It turned out that there was a mysterious virus going around the hotel and the convention, and I don't know how many people, I know it's way over 100 people just that I know of from my fellow conventioneers that I know on Facebook, came home sick. So it's been rough. I'm still fighting it off, although it's a lot better than it was. But the moral of the story is that the next time somebody tells you that whatever happens in Vegas stays there, don't believe them. Sometimes it follows you home. So it's been a very interesting month of August, you know. All right. So anyway, I'm back, and I'd like to do a video that's a little bit different for me, in that I don't think I've ever gone to the trouble of making a video about a film that I didn't like. I generally like to talk about things that I've been impressed with, that I fell in love with, and so I can recommend them to other people. But so now I'm going to do something a little bit different as a way of easing myself back into doing YouTube videos, because I get out of the habit very quickly. So anyway, everybody who knows me and might be watching this video of mine is aware that in July there is a half-price off sale at Barnes & Noble for the Criterion Collection. And like a lot of my friends on YouTube, I usually take part in that. It happens twice a year. And I bought several things. And am slowly starting to watch some of the backlog of videos that I've got stacked up, some of which are Criterion's. So I watched one last night, and it happened to be Dazed and Confused, the Richard Linklater film from 1992, which is beautifully packaged. I mean, this is just a great package for a video, and it has 2 discs. It has a big thick booklet and a poster for the film, and I've never seen this before, and I was looking forward to it, and I didn't like it at all. And nobody could be more surprised than me that I didn't like this movie, because I was expecting to like it. I wanted to like it. And I'm a fan of Richard Linklater in some of the things that he's done. I love Slackers, I love Bernie, I love Waking Life. I saw another one that I kind of was mixed on. I think it was called A Glass Darkly. A Glass Darkly, the one that's kind of like Waking Life. They use live action actors but turn it into an animated film. And they use Robert Downey Jr. and Keanu Reeves. Anyway, so I like Richard Linklater. I like pretty much what he does, and I want to see more of his work. But this one, I don't know. I know it's a pretty well liked film, but I was very disappointed. And I think the reason is, well, number one, I thought that the characters were all one-dimensional. Some of them may have been slightly heading toward a second dimension, but not very many of them. And I found them to be irritating and empty and totally uninteresting. A lot of good actors in the film. Ben Affleck, Parker Posey, Joey Lauren Adams. Let's see, who else is well known? I'm trying to think. I know I missed. Oh, Matthew McConaughey. I think that was the first film that he did. So it's interesting to see all of these cool actors, very talented people at the very beginning of their career. But and some of the characters were a little bit more likable than others. For example, the one played by Adam Goldberg, who was a little more of an intellectual and had some interesting lines to say in the film. But overall, it just didn't grab me. And another point might be that since I did not attend high school in the 70s, I don't necessarily relate to what these kids were talking about or wearing and all that stuff. But the same could also be true of The Breakfast Club, which came out in the 80s, and I was even farther away from high school. I went to high school in the 60s, graduated in 69. So I can relate to American Graffiti, because I remember a lot of that, the way things looked and the way kids were acting and the kind of music and all that. Even though I wasn't driving around, I was much too young to drive around in 1962. But back to the Breakfast Club, you would think that I would not be able to relate to any of those people as well, those characters, and yet those characters were much more well drawn out and much more effectively presented on screen, progressing from being a one-dimensional character that you, okay, who is this person? And then you got to know a lot about them. And I think that some of the things that the people in the Breakfast Club were going through and that they were talking to each other about were so much, they were so universal that people of any age can understand and relate to. And I was able to relate a lot of what they were saying in the 1980s, in their 1980s clothes and all that sort of thing, to what I felt when I was in high school. With Dazed and Confused, I just couldn't, and I don't know. I kept waiting for something to happen. Interesting, because another Linklater film is Slackers, where nothing actually happens. But I think the people in that film are fascinating, the way they talk about what's going on inside their heads and how they relate to each other in their environment. I just found it completely entertaining. But Dazed and Confused, sorry, it didn't daze me, it didn't confuse me, it just didn't reach me at all. And I did like a lot of the music, of the 70s, because I was still coming of age in the 70s, but I was in my 20s, so high school wasn't even thinking about it at all. And if that's what high school was like in 1976, God help all of us. But these people are now growing up and running the country. That's quite sad. But anyway, I happen to like some of the extra features better than the film. The documentaries about the backstory of making the film, interviews with the director and some of the actors, the audition footage and all that. That was kind of cool. And it was also kind of fun to see these people at their reunion 10 or 12 years later and trying to remember. It's funny listening to Ben Affleck talk about, well, you would look at this guy, this unknown actor, meaning him, and you would think this guy's not going to go anywhere. So he was very honest about himself. It was kind of cool. And Matthew McConaughey is always interesting to listen to, but he's a little bit full of himself, and he takes that good old boy thing just a little bit too far sometimes. Oh, that was my phone going off. Anyway, so what will I do with this this beautiful package? Am I going to let it sit on my shelf forever and take up space? No, I don't think so. I will probably try to make a trade with somebody or sell it on eBay, because I don't think I will ever watch this again. And it's in excellent shape, and it's only been watched once, so maybe I can make a little money out of it and buy something else that I would like. So I'm just doing this to be entirely negative in a very positive way. And like, maybe I'll start doing a series of videos about things that I don't like. That's kind of creepy, isn't it? But anyway, I need to go blow my nose again. So if you want to start a conversation, tell me what you think about Dazed and Confused, what you think about Richard Linklater, what you think about my sweatshirt, what you think about Las Vegas. Anything you want to talk about, I will listen. So take care, folks.